Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. Another 6 or 7 minutes, we will have the principal give his welcome address. Just hang in there, and we'll start the show soon. Thank you.
A huge welcome, students and parents as well, to this wonderful event this morning. And it's a very, very important event because I'm very passionate as the founding principal of Ambassador International Academy and someone who has been involved in education for nearly 30 years with 4 children of my own now who are all grown up, about careers and young people and opportunities. And I truly believe, that you need to have the mindset as a young person in today's world that you can be anything you want to be. You can achieve anything that you want to achieve. Why can you not be the Prime Minister of your country or be the CEO of one of the leading organizations in the world? There's only one reason why people don't end up being successful and following their dreams, and that's because they're not brave enough to put themselves forward. They're not being proactive in putting themselves forward. And you need to start being proactive and having that mindset that you can absolutely achieve anything in this world, and you need to start having that mindset now. And it's events like today for internships that are really important. Because ultimately, the best universities in the world, and note, I didn't just say universities, I said the best universities in the world. Because that's how you need to think. You want to go to the best universities in the world, not just to universities. The best universities in the world will not just accept students because of a qualification. The best companies and organizations in the world will not just accept somebody because of the qualification they have as well. There are many other things that come into the picture when you apply for the best universities in the world, and after that, when you go on to gain employment and experience with some of the best companies in the world. Internships are a crucial part of that because you're starting to build your CV. When you're at school and you're involved in things like Model United Nations, or you're involved in leadership roles, or you do internships, you do volunteering work, you gain experience, you're starting to build your CV that's going to put you in that top 2% for when it comes to interviews to those universities, those best universities, or to those companies. You're going to have a lot to talk about. You're going to have a story, your story. And a young person who has been proactive and put themselves forward and been involved in leadership opportunities, been involved in internships, and can talk about those at an interview, so they're very interesting to talk to. Perhaps they've been involved in volunteering, perhaps they've been involved in whatever it is, but they've got a story to talk about. Those are the candidates that push themselves through to that top 2%. And the top 2% is where that you need to be thinking about in your mind that you want to be in everything. Because it's very competitive now in this world. Young people have access to so much information, and I don't just mean through AI, but I'm just talking about networking. Right now, at your age, if you haven't done this, do it very soon. You should have a LinkedIn profile, and you should be really active on LinkedIn, building up your network, even as a young person. If you're interested in medicine, or if you're interested in entrepreneurship, or if you're interested in sports, whatever it is that you feel you might be interested in as you go ahead and think about universities, you should be building up your network on LinkedIn now. Connecting, right, with the top entrepreneurs in the world. Building up your connections. You don't even know these people, but you're connecting with them, you're following them, and then you're learning from what you're reading, but also as well, you're building up a huge network of your profile. And this is massively, massively, massively important, because you see, what you've got to remember is nothing comes to you. People don't just come and give you a gift, a wonderful job, a wonderful opportunity because you're nice or because you have a qualification. You have to make it happen. You've got to be ferocious and determined to make it happen. And making it happen is being at events like this morning, doing internships, being able to talk about how you went to a company on a Saturday for 6 months, or how you spent 3 weeks of your holiday during the summer working with a company. You didn't get paid for it, but you did this and you did that, and you gained this experience and you gained that experience. And you're starting to build, as a young person, an incredible CV that will put you ahead of anybody else. This is how you've got to start thinking. And that's why I wanted to congratulate you this morning on being here. Without going into detail, because I'm sure you wouldn't be interested in that, of course not. But 2 of my eldest children, so one of them is just finishing school, one of them is at university. But the other 2, my eldest children, they started building their CVs at a young age. At your age now, they would have been you. They would have been in an event like this. One of them is now a really successful lawyer in a top company in Manchester, and one of them is a brand manager for one of the biggest brands in the UK. And they're only sort of mid-20s, but it's not because they were extra special or anything like that. Of course they weren't. And they weren't the brightest in the class that they were in. They got excellent qualifications, but it wasn't that. You have to have that. You have to have those qualifications, and they've got to be amazing qualifications, but you also have to build up your profile. So they did internships. They did internships at least for 3 periods between the ages of 15 and 18. They did big internships. And I remember them saying to me, why do you think I need to do this, Dad? I said, because you're building up your story. You're starting to build your story. You're starting to gain experience. And also as well, when you're doing internships, you get to think about whether or not you might be interested in that particular career, in that particular area of study. Because if you don't do that, and you don't gain that experience from that process, then you've only really listened to your teachers and perhaps done your own research, but you haven't actually been in the workplace where you get a real feel for it. Do you understand what I'm saying by that? And that's why internships are also so important. But also as well, the other thing that those 2 children, my eldest 2 children did, is they started to build up their LinkedIn profile at a young age. And now they've got thousands of people that they follow and they connect with, and they sometimes private message to see if there are opportunities, etc., and all sorts of exciting things have happened only because they were being proactive. So that's the message that I wanted to give you this morning. Congratulations for coming to this event. I'd like to thank the event organizer as well, and Miss Gory and Miss Sharmista and the team at AIA for having this event here. I hope we can have a lot more events, and it's lovely to welcome everybody. I hope you get a lot out of this morning. I hope I haven't spoken for too long, but maybe there were 1 or 2 or 3 things in what I've said that will make you think about your futures, because you can achieve anything. Okay? Have a great day. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lynch, for the address. I loved what you said. One word, you need to be ferocious. And that's something that we are planning on equipping our students with. Good morning, everyone. Can I get a loud good morning? Thank you. Are you anxious? No? Good. Are you scared? No. You're eager? Excited? All right. Principal Lynch has covered a whole lot, the ethos, the objective, and the importance behind why we should look at internships very seriously going forward, especially in your age bracket. Thank you so much. At the onset, I'd like to say a huge thank you to Ms. Gauri, who has been with us throughout the entire journey of conceptualizing and conducting today's event. So thank you so much, Ms. Gauri, for being there for us. Thank you. And extending this to her students. A small brief introduction about Unique Nation. Maybe you've heard the name when we put that up on the slide there. This is a culmination and hard work with my partner Vidhi and myself. My name is Arundhati Sen. We both have been living in the UAE for the past 2 decades, and we have worked in the corporate world. But most importantly, we are moms of teenagers. All of you are sitting here, right? Now, one of the things that we realized is it is so challenging during our summer months for our children to get internships. And when we use the word teenagers, this is the best definition I could find on the net. This is something that we live with every day. Parents know what we're talking about. We are crazy, they drive us crazy, but we know we have to equip them with certain skill sets going forward in the world, into the corporate world at least. So what have we decided to do? Unique Nation has branched out a specific platform for teenagers, which is the Teen Nation. And we have 3 specific verticals that we have created. And one of the verticals that we thought of extending is to not just teenagers, but from the age of 10 right up to 18, so that you are on that journey with us. And we create this platform for preteens, as well as teenagers, as well as young adults going into their higher education. What are we looking at? We are looking at 3 verticals that we have created. One is workshops. When I say workshops, I don't mean a Canva workshop. I don't mean an AI workshop. We are talking about very, very specific, target-oriented workshops like cybersecurity. We are looking at AI, but on a very specific level, which has got to do with careers. We are looking at psychology. While looking for jobs, we realized one place that we are not getting jobs is psychology. We are not getting jobs in the law firms. If kids want to pursue law going forward, we're finding it very difficult to crack through with law firms as well. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to create these kind of niche workshops for our students, and it's a year-long process where you can subscribe to a complete membership, and then you can be a part of it. Of course, one of the most important things is the internship fair. We target the holidays. So that's the summer holidays, the winter holidays, and the spring break. So you have about 2 months of summer, you have about 15 to 20 days of winter, and then you have a 2-week again for spring. So this is a cycle that we are planning on following going forward. So do keep a lookout, keep in touch with Gauri ma'am as well as your, I know we have a lot of students from DPS Jebel Ali, DPS Dubai. Keep in touch with your counselors as well, because we are interacting with the counselors, letting them know that this platform is going to be available to all of you all going forward. Last one that we really want to look at is corporate visits. What do I mean by that? It's not a juice factory that I'm going to send you to. I would like to send you to a hydroponic farm. we would like to send you to a law firm, we would like to send you to a digital marketing agency to see how it works. It's very nice to have a day out at your mother and father's office, but you don't understand how that works. You don't know how the company really operates, what are the hierarchies, how does work really get done. So this is something that we would really like to concentrate on. So, like I said, keep in touch with us. You all have our numbers. We have communicated with you via email. This would be a great platform for you to at least explore certain opportunities. We do not know what opportunities you have. If you have any specific workshops that you want us to conduct, we will look at it. We will try and organize that for you with industry specialists. So that's us for now. Like I said, you're curious, you're inquisitive, you're happy to try something new, we're happy to get you something. Thank you very much for listening to me and giving us the opportunity to host this for all of you all. I won't take much of your time, but I would like to invite our next speaker on stage. Can I first have a show of hands for anyone who has applied for Cubic? Okay. How many have applied for Lightman? Thank you very much. Okay. This lady that I get on stage next is someone whom I very recently met, just about a month and a half back, and absolute fluke. I was at a Sharjah Entrepreneurship Forum, and she was standing at one place in her booth, and she was talking very passionately about her platform. And I was just standing there very quietly, and I was observing her. And then she stopped, she finished, and she approached me and said, "What can I do for you?" I said, "Ms. Raina, I conduct internship forums for students." She just held my hand and she said, "Oh my God, I need interns." And that's why she's here. And she's been somebody right from the beginning who has wanted to hire as many interns so that she can pass on the knowledge. She has extensive experience. Please do me the favor of going and checking her LinkedIn. I'm not going to read out a roster. You will see the next 2 to 3 minutes or 5 minutes, she'll explain to you. She comes from the background of e-commerce, which is huge. And it's forever changing. She comes from Demark, ex-Demark. She is from Itkan. Because we are digital marketers, we know it's a huge marketing agency, and she has been a part of that and mainly helped brands grow exponentially. So without any further ado, I call on stage Ms. Namrata Raina, founder of Cubic. That was a long one, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Arundhati. You can hear me, right, guys? Okay. Hi everyone. So you can hear me, right? Okay. So this was just a short intro about what Cubic is. We are actually building a startup that's focusing on the e-commerce industry to bring discounts for customers like you. So let me start off. 1 second. Thank you so much everyone, Arundhati, Unique Nation, Vidhi for having us here today. It's a pleasure to meet the parents and the students as well as the faculty. So I'm going to talk about how entrepreneurs select interns and what are we really looking at when we are trying to build a startup. So building a startup is a journey where you have a lot of chaos in the making. However, if you have the right team and you have the right strategy and if you have the right support, it helps scale up faster. So let me take you through a bit of my own journey in terms of how I started Qubit. So I'll take us all back to school. I was one of those kids that from the age of 6 started coding. So my parents were very busy. So they were like, where do we put these kids to? I mean, we need to put them somewhere. So our next door neighbor was an engineer. He would take tuitions for coding. And that's where I started building my coding skills. When we went to school, we were not in the mindset of internships. There was no options for what do you want to do in life, what do you want to do next. All what was done was teach a syllabus in school, and that's it. So what did I do? I used to love computers. I used to love coding. I used to play video games all the day. That's all that I used to do, nothing else. And, of course, there were no internships back then. There was no concept of internships. I went into undergrad, engineering college, computer science. Again, what I did there was code. 0 internships. Everybody was taking internships. I was sitting and playing video games. However, one of the things that I did during undergrad was I was very active in clubs. So I was part of the marketing clubs. I was part of business clubs. I was part of a lot of these events, tech fests, marketing fests. And I felt I used to enjoy being part of this because it was chaos with structure. Then I went and decided to work in a company. This is HSBC's global technology company. I was one of the first few software engineers. They were recruiting that year. And this one time I was sitting on my computer and I was coding and I was doing a project for them. And I just sat there and said, do I really want to continue coding? I mean, I've been doing this for the last, 15, 16 years. Is this my journey? And that's when I decided that I wanted to enter the marketing field. I liked the terminology. I liked what marketing meant. I didn't know anything about it, but I said, let's go on a journey to change professions. So I went into my business administration course, MBA. I focused on marketing and entrepreneurship as my primary focus because I felt like I'm not one of those people who can sit behind a desk all day and do the job. I wanted to be out there. So no more video games anymore because MBA makes it very hard for you to play anything. You're just focusing on work, you're networking, you're interacting with different people. So that is where the journey started towards entering the marketing domain without having an absolute idea of what it means. All I knew was, let's get into marketing. What does marketing really mean? What are the positions? What are the jobs? What are the titles? What does one do? And back in the day, there was nothing called digital marketing, especially in this region. So this is 12 years ago when I came to Dubai, UAE. And I said, this nation, this city, this emirate is marketing itself so beautifully. I think that's where I need to be. I think they know marketing very well. Let's go there. And that's how I came to UAE. And for the last 12 years, I've been working in the e-commerce industry, the marketing industry, the tech space, building a lot of technology products in the region specifically for the industry. I built 2 startups in the past for the last 8 years. I was part of the leadership team. However, I was not a founder. One of the things that I learned during my 8-year stint with 2 startups was that you can absolutely find structure in chaos. And why did that happen is because I had a background of engineering. I had a background of working in a very structured manner. So when we were actually building out startups, for one of the startups I was the 6th employee and for the other I was literally the 1st employee. And these 2 startups are currently profitable businesses operating in more than 4 countries. They focus on the marketing space. And I decided eventually, let's start Qubit. I always wanted to start my own startup, but I took 15 years to do that. Why did I do that? I did that because I felt I needed to learn. I felt I needed to grow. I felt I needed to understand the market. I felt like I needed to understand how things work. And that's when I started Qubit. We are trying to become one of the largest coupons and savings platform in the MENA region. and we are going to also get into the deal space very soon, and hopefully global. There is no limitation to geographies when you think of a product or you think of a tech startup. So you're not limited to a city, you're not limited to a country, you can go global. And that's my mini journey of starting from tech, entering marketing, and building a startup that focuses on both of my core skill sets. I am a coder with a marketing experience. And one thing that I want to tell you guys is what I've learned over the last 15, 20, 25 years of working is I am a learner forever. I want to build. I want to create. And that is something that I see in the current generation as well. The mindset is you're always growing, you're always learning. There's so much technology out there. There's so much awareness that you cannot not be learning. You have to learn. You have to build. It can be building the smallest of projects. It can be building the smallest of things. But in the end, what you're doing is building something either for yourself, either for a corporation, or for your own company. So a little bit about Cubic, just to give you some numbers. We are currently operating in 7 countries. Saudi and UAE are our primary markets. We have more than 20 plus consumer categories on our platform. We operate in 2 languages, English and Arabic. Basically what we've been doing the last 1.5 years of starting Cubic is onboarding e-commerce brands. So we have the likes of Noons, the Namshis, the Trendyols, the Temurs, the ones that, all the customers that we have on our platform are the parents, the females, and now we're also seeing the younger generation liking getting coupons on our platform. It's a free platform, subscription free. All you got to do is register, and the next thing is you have more than 200, 300, 400 coupons at your fingertip. So that's a bit about what you're trying to build. Now, let me talk about what are the kind of internships that we are looking at Cubic. We are a startup that has 15 people. We started around 1.5 years ago. We have more than 400 brands, so you can imagine the kind of work that we have. And we operate in Egypt, India, and the UAE. But we work digitally, we work remotely, so there's no office. What are we looking at is how can we use your mind to build Cubic? Now that can be in the domain of marketing, that can be in the domain of social media, that can be content writing, content creation, design, because what we are doing is basically promoting content, visuals, products, brands on the digital platforms. And then of course events. We've been a primarily digital first platform, so everything that we do is digital focused. However, we do see the value add in having events, having a lot of activations on ground. And then of course, a lot of what we do is centered towards data and research. When you look at somebody who's coming to our platform, and let's say you have 30,000 hits in a month, you want to look at why are people coming to your platform? What are they trying to really do? Where are they going? Which coupon are they using? So we really want to look at it from a data perspective as well. So I'm trying to build a startup that looks structured. Of course, a startup is a very busy journey of trying to move forward. However, if you have the right attitude and the right mindset, things can happen. So for us, once we met Arundhati, as she mentioned, we were very interested in considering the youth and the students in terms of our internship program. Initially, we were only focusing on university students. We did a trial with one of the universities called American University of Sharjah, and one of the interns that we got, she was a finance major. And she came up to my booth and said, I'm very interested in Cubic, can I join you? I said, what position? She said, seems like you have marketing open. I said, yes, but you're finance. So she said, no, but I can give it a try. I said, okay, tell me what you know about the e-commerce industry. She said, nothing. I said, okay, that's fine. How willing are you to learn with us? How willing are you to give us your ideas? And she came on board 3 months. The university said yes, but she stayed with us even till today. So this is 9 months. She's not an intern with us, but she's a massive supporter and ambassador. So we're literally partnering up with AUS in terms of many, many things. So I'll go into the details once you meet me in the classroom, then I'll give you details on what we are looking for, what are we hiring for. But this is just a small snapshot of what we are trying to recruit for. What do we look for? Over my decades of experience, one thing that I've seen is you have to have a mindset of curiosity. You need to be very curious about what you're trying to build or do. You need to have a drive to learn. I mean, there's nothing in this world that happens without learning. You have to put in at least 1,000 hours of effort to master something. So you have to be learning. We do look at a proactive mindset, not just a mindset where I give you the tasks or my team gives you the tasks and you're just doing them. And so the concept is that you build yourself by saying what you want and you ask for it. Ownership. If there's a project you're part of, if you are part of a team, you've got to be responsible and accountable for making sure that you are doing it to your utmost 100% effort. Communication. One of the biggest things that I've seen is there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of smart people. Everybody is smart today. Now you have AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity, DeepSeek. There's a ton of tools out there. But to use those tools, you've got to use your brain. So you have to be communicating via text, via content, via speech. Everything is communication. So that's where I see that something that we really look for. You might not know something, but you know how to communicate, you know how to research, you know how to think well. And then of course, creative thinking. One of the biggest things, especially in our industry, it's ever changing. Social media keeps coming up with new algorithms every single week. The e-commerce industry keeps coming up with a new feature on their platform every single week. So we're always looking at people who can think beyond what they know. And then, how do interns really support? How do you guys really support us as founders, as entrepreneurs, or even startups, or even companies for that matter? It's basically with the kind of energy that you come up with, the kind of ideas that you have. We do look at the fact that we're not always knowing what the trends are. We do get to miss that, and I see that you guys have always a hands-on on what's happening in the industry, in the region, etc. Of course, the mindset that you have, that's amazing for somebody who's more legacy and old, so we love that kind of fresh mindset. And then of course, how we see intern support is by supporting our core teams. So let's say we have core teams working on certain projects or activations, you can actually be part of that and help it grow. What will Cubic provide? Now, it's all good, it's a startup, we'll have a lot of fun, we'll have a lot of work, but we also want to add value to you. One of the biggest things that we can do for you is give you mentorship. What does that mean? My entire team comes with a lot of experience. So if you're exploring the industry of tech, digital, marketing, e-commerce, in the future, of course, there's a lot happening in that space. We can actually guide you towards what would be the best for you, regardless of what project you do with us. You'll be working on a lot of real projects with us, live promotions, campaigns, marketing material, collaterals, etc. You can build a lot of social credit. So you can actually tag us, we can give you recommendation letters, we can give you certificates of the work that you've done for us. And of course, have you onboarded on our Youth Ambassador program that I'll leave it up to later to kind of highlight what that really means. And of course, you're developing a skill. You might learn how to make a presentation. You might know how to talk on stage. You might get to do fantastic videos in 5 minutes through AI on social media. You might get to write a blog using an AI prompt. So the skill that you can develop is limitless. What are the kind of careers you can explore potentially, not just with us, but in the digital space, the industry as well? These are not all, but these are definitely relevant to what is the most hired, what are the job positions that's the most active. So companies look for sales, business development, marketing, advertising, designations. Then you have design. Today, design is massive. Strategic level, operational level, content level, and then of course the finances and then the legal, and of course you have that, but then people are moving a lot towards product and technology as well. One thing that I want to kind of end this presentation is with just one thought and one idea. Build a core skill. Build one skill that anybody who comes in touch with you says that you're good at it. It can be anything. It can be an industry, maybe the e-commerce industry, or it can be a department. Maybe you're very good at content writing. But if somebody meets you and says, hi, I want to meet you, you should have that one core skill set that people can never take away from you, because that is going to be a differentiating factor. Of course, you can build multiple core skills over a period of time, but build on that, because I believe that's where in the future it's not going to be generalist roles. It's going to be very specific niche-based profiles that you will be recruited for, or you might want to build your own company for. And that's it from our side. Please visit us, say hi to us, and apply with our student internship form. I believe Arundhati and Unique Nation have already pre-planned it. And let's start soon. Thank you, guys.
Do we have any questions, especially from the ones who have applied with Cubic? Any questions? No questions? All right, so then you can pick that up with her when you are doing your interviews. Thank you so much, Namrata, for the wonderful experience that you shared with us today. And I think one of the things that now stays back in my mind is the core skill. I think that is so important that you all now need to start looking your next 2 to 3 years. What are you going to pursue? You might feel that there's so much to absorb. You have your classes, you have your studies, but this is something on the side which is going to help you for your future. So keep that in mind and try and build a core skill. Our next speaker, if you thought Namrata was here to talk about Cubic and get you to spend all your money, the next speaker is someone who's here to tell you how to save your money. All right? She is someone, again, who comes from an extensive background of financial planning, investments, and I have had the privilege of meeting her during a networking group. And I can tell you this much. I had a coffee with her, and in 5 minutes, there's only one thing that stood out, which is she knows what she's doing. And very rarely do you meet those kind of people. No faff, no fluff, no giving you marketing talks, but she knows exactly what she wants to do. And if you catch up with her, she will give you such an insight as to why each one of us, not just our fathers and mothers, or our parents, our grandparents, each one of you need to be financially literate. Without further ado, I would call on stage Minali Tolani, the founder of Lightman Global. Over to you.
Thank you, Arundhati. Hi, everyone. Let's play a quick game. How many of us have bought something really glamorous and then regretted it the next day? Me too, no judgment. How many of us have received some money, maybe a gift or maybe something that we have gone out and earned, and the next day is gone poof, just like this? Yeah? Me too. I've made all those mistakes. Now the thing about money is, okay, it's really fun to have. It's really fun to do things with money. But the most important thing about money is actually the fact that it gives you control. You control your life. You decide what you want to do with it. And more importantly, it gives you confidence. So if you have money, the way you speak to someone, the way you can communicate becomes completely different. So, what do you like about money? Just by some people, what do you like about money?
Like you mentioned that we have control when we have money. So basically in a manner, in today's world, the more money you have, the more resources you're able to buy. It gives you a proper social standing as well in terms of, the people who you're able to network with and all of that as well.
Wonderful. I love you spoke about social standing. I'm going to tell you what I like about money. It's freedom. The freedom to do what I like, when I like, where I like. If you have enough money, you never have to think, do I do option A or option B? You can have both as your options. Right? So, who am I to talk about money? Okay, I've had about 20 years experience across the major financial hubs across the world. I worked in Bombay, in Dubai, in New York, and now Bombay is back home for me. I've worked with the top financial names in the world, banks, fintechs, as well as other type of financial institutions. I've seen it all. I've seen the booms, I've seen the bust, okay? I've seen all the roller coaster rides which are there, and still, okay, and the golden opportunities. Now the one thing I can tell you, from Dubai to New York, even a lot of adults do not necessarily know how money works. Isn't that strange? One of the most important concepts of our life, and we don't know how money works. Okay? You think that money is about budgeting and accounting. Yes, that is certainly one part about it, but money is much more than that. Money touches every part of our life. We decide where we go to college, what our first car will be, where we go on vacation, and where we choose to live in the world. Once we get our jobs, do we want to continue staying in the job? Do we want to start our own entrepreneurship journey? Money touches all these aspects of our life. And I'm someone who understands financial markets very thoroughly and help people with their financial planning. So why is money important? Okay? Money is something, when you have it, you're great. When you don't have it, you're in a huge amount of stress. And the stress that people have also leads to sleepless nights. They keep thinking about their future. There's anxiety. And it's not just regular people who have stress around money. It's also people who are successful, who have their own homes, who have thriving careers, and yet people are anxious about money. And how do you stop being anxious? We decode it for you. We simplify it for you. Money is accessible to everyone. The concepts of money are accessible to everyone. So, the foundation of money. Okay, if you were to think about money as a pyramid, why is financial literacy important to us? Okay, the foundation of money is first earning your money. When you have the money, what do? You start planning around it. Once you have a plan in place, you start investing the money, and then you watch your money grow. After that, the middle part is you start creating a financial security. You start building a financial net. Okay? Life is not always roses. Life itself is its roller coaster. It's not if something were to happen to you. It's about when something were to happen to you. Recessions are a truth of this world. Job losses are a truth of the world. Let's just take in our recent past, not a very good memory of the pandemic. People who had jobs either lost their jobs or had to take pay cuts as well. People who had businesses had income which just completely stopped. So you need to have a safety net to take you and tide you across the difficult times as well. And then we come to the pinnacle where you are empowered. What does empowerment mean to you? Again, it means choices. It means social standing. It means networking. It means how you present yourself to society. This is everything that money brings to you, which are intangibles. It's not just being out on a beach and going out on a wonderful holiday and driving that glamorous car. Okay. So now, let's make money relatable to you. I want you to know how money works for you, and not just you have to keep working for your money. Could one of you please tell me, when you were in first grade, how much did a bar of candy cost? Or how much did your favorite snack cost?
Well, when I was in first grade, I really used to like Kit Kats. I still do like Kit Kats a lot. Before, it used to cost it depended where I bought it, but mainly, roughly the cost would be maybe 280 or something, 2 dirhams mostly.
2 dirhams. And how much is it now?
Right now, it rarely comes in separate packs. Usually it comes in an entire pack. So right now it's some 580 or something.
580, yeah? Thereabout. Okay. So what does it mean? Things keep getting more expensive over time. And that's what inflation is. Okay? If you had money today, okay, and it was able to buy you something today, it will not be able to buy you the same commodity tomorrow. Okay? Things just keep getting more and more expensive. And that is what inflation is about. Apologies, I think there's some errors here. Okay? So today, let's say you were to go to Starbucks. Okay? It costs you 20 dirhams today. Now, what is inflation? Inflation is the rate by which things get more expensive. Okay? So let's say the inflation rate in the UAE is 5%. That same thing, if I were to give you $100 today, if you just did nothing with it and kept it in your bedside stand, that $100 or 100 dirhams at 5% the following year is worth only 95. So it's getting weaker and weaker. It's like going to the gym, okay, and going and chit-chatting with everyone around and not working out. Will your muscles grow any stronger? No. So your money doesn't become stronger if you don't invest it either. So the same cup of coffee 10 years later, okay, will cost you 32 dirhams, and 25 years later will cost you 67 dirhams. Okay, that's how inflation continues to work. Now, if I were to say, hey, there's a lucky winner here, and I'm going to give you 1,000 dirhams, okay, but I'm going to give you two choices, and I want everyone to answer this by a show of hands. That 1,000 dirhams, if I give it to you today, or I tell you I'll give you 1,000 dirhams tomorrow, how many of you will choose 1,000 dirhams today? Okay, that's about, I want to say, 2/3 of the audience. And how many of you will take the 1,000 dirhams a year down the line? No one. So I'm guessing everyone said the first. Why? Because as we demonstrated, money gets weaker the next year. So that's what we call as time value of money. So once you attach time to money, okay, your money can either grow or degrow. One of the two options which we'll see. And we will see very soon how you can use time as a commodity to actually work in your favor. Now, don't look at these figures. Don't worry about this chart. I promise you no financial jargon. Okay? We're going to make this really fun, and we need to see how the application and how money works for you. Now, if we were to say that, hey, you know what? Let's take a person, Mr. X. That person is earning a salary of 30,000 dirhams. 20,000 is what they need for their expenses. What do they do with that 10,000 dirhams extra? We're going to invest it for them into the market. Okay? Now, if I say 10,000 dirhams per month is 120,000. Let's reduce that amount, maybe other miscellaneous expenses. Why? Because I just like working with round figures, no other reason. So we have 100,000 dirhams that Mr. X is investing into the market at 10% today. How much is that money worth 1 year down the line if they've invested at a rate of 10%? I'm sure all of you have learned about simple interest, compounding interest. A year down the line, that gives me 1,000 dirhams. Now, if I were to take that money and not withdraw the interest amount, but reinvest that interest amount, that becomes 110,000. So the following year, I will not just get 1,000 dirhams back as my returns, I will get 1,100 dirhams, and it keeps increasing just that initial 100,000 dirhams. However, me, because I'm prudent, I say, you know what? I can save 100,000 dirhams every year and continue to invest it. When I do that, I have 100,000 which is invested. My 100,000 has earned me 1,000 dirhams. So that 110,000 plus the 100,000 the following year, I'm getting a return of 231,000. So on and so forth. So the initial investment is getting reharvested back into your investments. Okay? Now, what I want to show you is, this is a particular magic. And remember, compounding is your superpower. If you have to remember only one thing from my conversation today, that is learn about the magic of compounding. This is your superpower. So, in 10 years' time, okay, your initial 100,000 invested wisely, becomes 1.7 million. After 20 years, it becomes 6 million dirhams. Okay? So what happens? Compounding is like a snowball. You take a little snowball, take it on the top of the hill, and it keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. What happens? Any guesses? Two things happen. The snowball keeps getting bigger, and it keeps going faster. It's not just it keeps getting bigger. Okay? So, just for fun, how much do you think? After 30 years, my 6 million will grow to how much if I keep investing 100,000 dirhams? Just call it out. I can hear you guys. It becomes 18 million dirhams in 30 years total. Unbelievable? You can do the math. How much do you think it becomes in 40 years? You get 46 million dirhams. Okay? Why have I taken this figure of 10%? Does this 10% look realistic? Okay, let me tell you. The S&P index, okay? The S&P index is nothing but the stock market in the US, which is a basket of the top 500 stocks, okay? On average, it has given you a yield of 11.6% over the past 40 years. Why do I say average? Average because markets go up. Many times it remains sideways. Markets do nothing at all. And markets can go down as well. So on an average basis, when I have to take the back testing over time, okay, that is when it gives 11.6%. So do you think 10% is achievable? I think so, certainly. Even with everything that Trump is doing at the moment. Okay, so now that we know how money works, we understand the concepts of money. You know, how much money is ever enough money? Because our greed always outruns our need. How much money do you think you would require to retire? Anyone? The answer is for everyone, it's a very individual number. And that number is based on your lifestyle and your expenses. So, like we took an example earlier, let's say I, Minali, want to spend 20,000 dirhams each month. Okay? If I take that 20,000 dirhams a month, annually, that's 240,000 dirhams. If I take 240,000 dirhams, multiply by that by 25 years, that comes to 6 million dirhams. All of you can pull out your own calculators, pull out your phones, and figure out what is your FIRE number. Why do we call it FIRE? Because it represents financial independence, retire early. Okay? I'm in my 40s, and guess what? I've retired. What does retirement mean? One simple thing. You choose to work only if you want to work. You choose to follow your passion. You choose to do what you want. It is all in your choice. If you still choose to work in a corporate job, you can do that. If you choose to give back to society, you can choose to do that. You live life on your own terms without any stress and anxiety. Okay? So if you have 6 million dirhams today with you, given that your expenses are 20,000 dirhams, why 25 years or 25 was a magic number? Why? Because it's a rule of 4%. Okay? If I have 6 million dirhams and I calculate 4%, that is 240,000 dirhams, which I have 20,000 dirhams each month to spend. And not just that, if I were to withdraw that 4% from my initial principal, it means that it will not affect my investments in any way. It will not even cause a dent. In fact, even from the 6 million, even if I don't add any further money, this corpus will continue to multiply. Great. Now we know our FIRE number. What next? We need to build a safety net. In financial jargon, this is known as building a moat. So we've all seen Renaissance movies with castles in them, and we know that when there's an invading army, the defending army immediately pulls up its drawbridge. Why? Because there are alligators in that water around, and it gives a sense of safety and security that the invading army cannot reach me at least unto a certain amount of time until they don't break down my defenses. That's what building the safety net or a financial moat is. At any point in time, you should have 3 to 6 months of savings with you to be able to take you through a difficult period in your life, whatever that difficult period may be. There may be unforeseen medical illness, maybe of someone who's elder, maybe a parent or a grandparent. Maybe your car suddenly breaks down and you need to buy a new car, or you have maintenance expenses. Like I said, it's not if things happen to you in life, it's when things happen to you in life. Okay? Again, stock markets, financial markets will not remain always positive. They're not going up. It's not Bitcoin is not always going up, up, up. We've seen crashes as well. It's when it's going to happen. And that is when you manage to do your planning. Now, we speak about the third component which is there. When do you want to retire? For some people, like me, they may want to retire in their 40s. Some people say, hey, you know what? I'm okay to retire even when I'm 60. There is no right or wrong answer. It is up to you individually what your goal is. The difference it makes, in the previous table we saw, there were two components which played an active role. One was the rate of interest we chose, and two was the time component. If you remember, in 10 years, 1.7 million to 20 years turned into 6 million. So the earlier you actually start investing, the more that your money rewards you back. Your money is your friend. It wants to reward you. It wants to give you a fabulous lifestyle. So from here, we decide what your goal for retirement age is, and then we work backwards, trying to understand how much money should you be investing today to be able to create that beautiful retirement plan for you and your family at that particular age. If you want to retire at the age of 60, easy peasy. There's less that you need to start saving. If you want to retire at the age of 40, you probably have to be a little bit more aggressive in your investments, and therefore it's a combination of a little bit of frugality and discipline. What was the third factor we saw in the chart? If you remember the chart, discipline. You need to keep investing on a consistent manner. Okay? Irrespective of whether markets are up or down, whether even you're investing in a simple fixed deposit, whether you're investing into real estate, as long as your money is working for you, it does not matter what your asset class is, your money needs to work, and therefore you need to build in that discipline. And so therefore, planning your investments is something that your investment advisor does for you to tell you what your asset allocation is and how your money works. Now coming to the important part, since all of you here are here for internships, you're curious, and just because here Lightman Global is here to talk to you about what financial planning is and what money is, you're still curious enough to know what are the traditional careers in finance. So one of the highest paying careers is actually investment banking. Okay? And these are the skills that you require. You need to be someone who's very good with pitch decks, with presentations. You need to put in a lot of hard work, long hours. And in this, okay, what does an investment banker do? They look into mergers and acquisitions, buyout of other larger companies. It could be also an IPO, the first time a company is going public in the market. We won't talk about financial planning because I've taken you through that into detail. The skills that you require are good interpersonal skills and trust. Because only people trust you, they will allow you to advise them. You're never taking their money. Never say they will give you their money to invest in the market. No, an advisor never takes the money. They only advise and guide you where to take your money and how to invest it. And then you have corporate finance. People who work in corporate finance help to build and to grow the company that they're working with. They work with budgets. And when they work with budgets, you know, today you have enough tools that you can plug in the numbers and you'll get your balance sheet and you'll get your cash flows. What's required here is a curious mindset. You need to ask the questions. If I were to move this figure here, what impact would it have there? Okay, I need to increase my sales by 10% to be able to achieve this? Which territory can I increase my sales in? And you as a finance professional would speak to the head of business development and give them your input, and then the head of business development will go and implement that strategy in the company. So you need to have good analytical skills and a love for numbers to be able to do that. What about the emerging careers? Crypto is very big in the market. What are the careers that one could look at in crypto? You could either be a trader or an analyst looking at the markets. When we talk about blockchain and crypto, what's the one word that comes to mind? NFTs. Did you know 50% of NFT transactions are actually fraudulent in the market? Fraud is a term that comes in. That is why the older generation is still very uncomfortable when it comes to the money that they've been holding. So cybersecurity, risk assessment, compliance becomes very important when you're working in the crypto culture. Then we have other budgets. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Yeah, apologies. Yeah. So then we have fintech. Yeah. Fintech is a marriage of finance and technology. So if you have good technology skills that you have been building on, and you have been able to take it and understand the basis of finance. So you could be a UI designer. Okay, so think of your mobile application apps. Think of the POS machine where you swipe your credit card. Think about remittances internationally. Think about your Careem app that you're ordering your food with. These are all fintech. So these are where your careers in technology are. Let's talk about sustainable finance. If you want to invest, you love the environment, you want to invest into products related to that. A lot of companies today are required by CSR to invest in ECG kind of products, okay? So anything that has to do with environment, that is where you can look and contribute to. And then, of course, you have data science. Data science is a new emerging career. I wouldn't so much call it an emerging career as it is a present career. I think data science touches every aspect, every business today, and that's another good career in finance to target. So, what should you know if you're looking to pursue a career in finance anywhere? You need to learn, you need to study, get onto Coursera, Khan Academy, YouTube videos, speak to people in your own inner circle, meet your teachers, meet your elders, find mentors for yourself. Like your Principal Lynch said, go onto LinkedIn, network, find your mentors on LinkedIn as well. And of course, apply your knowledge. How do you apply your knowledge? Go to your own family and say, hey, I want to manage your budget for the next 1 year. Apply your financial skills there. Find practical ways to get that experience, not besides over and above your internships. So ladies and gentlemen, teenagers, this is about me. I'm also offering some consultation sessions, one-on-one free if you want it. Take a picture of my details. For teens who want to, I'm going to give 3 slots complimentary to teens who want that opportunity of the consultation. Please text me career. For parents who want assistance in financial planning, please text me wealth. These are my details. And thank you so much for this opportunity of speaking to you today.
Thank you. With that, we come to the end of the session of the speakers. I know all of you are getting very eager to go out there and start giving your interviews. So a couple of points to note. The 3rd floor is where the internship interviews are happening. We have the corporates lined up there. They should be coming in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And we have got rooms for them where they will be conducting the interviews. So our request to the parents is to use the canteen if you want to. You can be around here, but if you do want to come back, finish some course and come back, please come around 2 o'clock if possible. I'm just taking a buffer time because there could be a waiting from one interview to another. And if there is an easy flow, we're not expecting a huge number, but we would like to make sure that each of the students can give at least 2 interviews, and if we do have space, we will try and give a 3rd one to them. But that's no commitment. But 2 we will definitely be able to swing. So I would request, if parents don't want to hang around here, you're most welcome to come back at about 2 o'clock. Thank you very much, and all the very best to all of you. Thank you.
All the very best to all the students. Put your best foot forward. Learn as much as you can. And go to the 3rd floor now. Parents, while you're here, we have our Sister Concerns Core Plus with a desk outside. If you had any questions related to SATs or any other entrance exams, you can get your queries sorted there. All the best. Thank you. Bye.